Hey, Shane, I have 6. Let's go ahead and get started. Recording's good to go. Appreciate it.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to open up with before we start?
Nope, thanks.
Okay. All right. I'm going to keep admitting folks that are coming in here. So it's been assessed across the team that we have some gaps in our swings in our maintenance, and it's in particular with with our company XOs and their ability and knowledge on what to do after we see on an ESR that there's a BB status with a long lead part. So I am just going to go over two things that we can do to get past just the conversation ending at it's a BB status in July, and then see if there's show them how we can get past that. So without further ado, you see my screen here. This is the G Army poll page. I am going to go into WinGUI, and there's really two things I'm showing, and it's how to look up parts from the SSAs, where they are in each SSA, and then also where they are in SLOCs across. It's going to show you across the Army, but more importantly, you want to look at see if there's one close on the division here. So one of the things I have here is is an ESR. So I'm going to use one of our vehicles, Alpha 122. And really what I'm pulling from the ESR here is the NIN for it. This one in particular is a PLS with a BB status part that's a steering gearbox of July. So I'm going to take this NIN. All right, I'm going to go back. The T code I'm going to use to look up through the SSAs is MMBE, Mike, Bravo, Echo. Okay, nothing happened with that one. Okay, bear with me one second. It timed out on me. Okay, back on. Mike, Bravo, Echo. So the only thing I'm putting in two pieces of information in this. I'm putting in the NIN, which is going to go in under the material, and you're going to choose one of two plants. All right. So plant 2001, you're going to look at the SSA level across the Army, and at plant 2000, you're going to look at the SSL within each of the battalions across the Army. So for this, we're going to start 2001. Execute. Okay, so what it's going to pull up here is it's going to show where in the Army these parts are located. You can see the unrestricted use column, and then you'll have an on order stock. And then over on the far left, it will show units and their RICs and SLOCs. So you can see that we are actually on here because of the one I just, because we're using this, it's the on order stock. It'll actually show that. So it's showing here that we have one on order. If you look down for the unrestricted use without one on order, those are the ones, the SSAs that would be available. For these, both of these, unfortunately, they are all OCONUS. If you wanted to see, for instance, the one at the bottom here, does not give a very good explanation of what this unit is. So this SLOC, this AG81, Alpha Golf 81, I can go back. There is also a T code for how to look up. It's ZFE, Zulu Fox Echo. So if I want to look up what that unit is, I can go down to here, their SLOC, I believe it was AG18. And I would put it in under the SLOC provisions there and then hit execute. And it doesn't show me. I'm going to go back. Okay, well, I was wrong. AG81.
Hey, Shane, for those, I mean, we're familiar with Camp Carroll and that's in Korea. Is there any code to those SLOCs that you just know what are CONUS and UNCONUS initially, or?
No, and that's why I was actually referencing the one below it that didn't give much data on it. So this is that one, the Alpha Golf 81, which if you look that one up, it's actually Fort Lewis. So what the point of this is, there is a T code and a way that if you're looking up and you don't know what these are because it's not spelled out specifically, like Camp Carroll or 21 at Fort Bliss, you can use ZFE to type it in and find out more information about that unit. It'll give you where they are. It'll give you what the unit is, the UIC, and so forth. Okay, so the takeaway from what we just did here is we looked at Plant 2001 for this part, and we identified that there was nothing available that was close to us, and we could see where the parts are. The other way to do this is we want to look at the Plant 2000 level to look into the OSSLs. I'm going to go back into MMBE. And instead of looking at 2001, I'm going to hit Plant 2000, and then I'm going to execute. So this is going to tell me the SLOCs at the SSL, at the OSSL level, the battalion level, where they are. You will notice a distinct difference with the difference between looking up 2000 and 2001 is that it's not going to give you where the units are. So again, if you know the SLOCs, you can go and you can look at that. You can pull up ZFE T code and type some of these in, but it's going to take a while. So I'm going to give you the alternate way to do this when you want to look at the OSSL level. And it's going to be the same. We're going to use that NIN. I am going to go out into the main page of G-Army, and I'm going to go to the Home tab under Supply, and we're going to enter BI Launchpad. So under BI Launchpad is the card, and we are going to access that, and there's a function under here that's going to allow us to look up this stuff. Okay. Okay, under Material Management tab of the Commander's Actionable Readiness Dashboard card, all right, there's going to be a My Material Tracker. We're going to click on that. And then okay. It's a long 1 second. So while this is pulling up, what we're going to need is the same thing we're going to need for when we looked it up through through G-Army to look across the SSAs. We're going to need that NIN, and then we'll put that place that in under the material tracker, and it will show where at the battalion level each of these are, and it will show it in more detail. Once this thing opens. Okay. So this is the screen you're going to see. Under the enter material is where you're going to place that in. And then it's going to give you two drop down things. Just hit manual entry and then hit OK. All right, so what this is showing us here, you can see this is the steering gearbox that we're looking for. It's going to show where these things are located. One of the things that we got to pay attention to here is the serviceable on hand versus unserviceable on hand. You can see Fort Bliss is listed, but all that it's showing is that there is one at Fort Bliss that's unserviceable on hand. Obviously, we don't want that one. Below it, we have Cavazos. All right, they already changed it in here for what was Fort Hood. There's Fort Riley. All right, so if ideally what we wanted to look at on here is see where we have some that are on Fort Bliss. There are not any serviceable ones on Fort Bliss. So what we're going to do is we are going to check out Fort Riley, just so for the point of showing this. Okay, so when this, as this pulls up, it's going to show down to the unit level, which unit this is under Fort Riley, and it'll show how many that they have on hand. So here it is. You can see that there are 2 different units at Fort Riley that have this item. It shows what their SLOC are, shows the UIC, and what the unit is. The things that we want to pay attention under this is the MRP type. There's going to be one of 3 codes that we want to look at here and distinguish between. This, it says PD code. PD codes are typically indicating that this item was ordered for a specific job or it was ordered under bench stock. You could see a ZV code, Zulu Victor, which indicates that it's code, which indicates that it is a command directed item. So for these 2, we're seeing that these are PDs. So if I was if I was on Fort Riley, what I would do then is I would go up here and I would export this, and then I would hand it off and I would go have a conversation with my tech and and have them either network, or in our case, and most units have this as well, we have our Sergeant First Class Cam, which is in the SPO shop. He is our BAT team. He is the person that reaches outside of our organization to either talk to material managers or other units for sourcing parts. I wouldn't recommend that every company XO, if they find something, go to Sergeant First Class Cam. I would recommend that first we go to our techs at the battalion level, and then they can filter that up to Sergeant First Class Cam. All right, so that's it. That kind of what we showed here was how to look up parts. If you have a BB status part, how to look up and see if that is one on another SSA on our installation, or if it is in a MAT sit or their OSSL somewhere on the installation, where we could then go a little bit deeper than just stopping at, I got a BB status. It's coming. It may come in July. Jacob, if you have anything else, that's all I had.
Hey team, no, that was perfect. That was incredibly helpful. It was captured. And for one part, we're looking at a 10 to 15-minute exercise to do it well. With that, A team, for the battalion of Squadron XO, come up on the net. Let me know which of you has one or two high-speed company battery troop or troop XO or XOs who want to take what we just did with the recording and build out a series of screenshots of how to manual in PowerPoint or PDF. So come up on the net and let me know if you got somebody who can do that. But Shane, really appreciate your time. We're about a minute over. I will leave the mic open for a few seconds for any questions. All right, team, we're going to go do some PT. You should get after it. Thanks for what everyone's doing out there at Loadout. Strike hard.